Hello folks, here we are again, 4 o'clock a.m. We're going to do fried chicken today. It's going to be pretty much baked. We're just going to sear it on top of the stove. It kind of holds the crust together a little bit better. We're going to do that in coconut oil, and we're going to sear it, and then we're going to bake it the entire time. The sear it's just more or less just to encase the chicken. So good morning, it's Cooking Healthy for You. I'm Dean Curry, Chef Curry Flavors. Our YouTube channel is Rising Star Enterprises for Wellbeing. Let's get right to it. So we have basically one bowl. We're going to put half whole wheat flour, all-purpose flour. We're probably going to put 3/4 of a cup in each, about a cup, 3/4 of a cup. Then we're going to add our spices. I have onion, chicken mix, which has paprika in it, pepper, onion, and garlic. Then in our wet, we're going to dip it, and then dip it. We have our hot sauce, and we have our apple cider vinegar, very good honey, and we have our organic coconut oil. And I actually like to add a little pickle juice because of the flavor. I really like the flavor of that. And in here we have whole wheat flour and coconut chips. All right, and then we're going to have a separate egg dish, and we will be back in one moment. Hello folks, I'm Chef Curry Flavors. Welcome to Cooking Healthy for You. Today we're going to cook fried chicken, but we're barely going to fry it. We're more or less just going to sear it in a pan and then bake it the rest of the way. The sear is really just to keep the crust on. It's sort of like the way I like to seal that crust, and it just holds together so well. So let's get right to it. First of all, we have our buttermilk. Let's move that down. Now we'll go a little further there. There we go. Boom. Perfect. And we have our buttermilk. This was overnight. You have to make that sit out for like a half hour because you don't want it to be cold because it will lower the temperature of the oil, which is never good. We have 3 eggs beaten. There you go. Move this baby up a little bit so you can see the eggs. We have, you have to 3/4 of a cup of flour, whole wheat, regular flour, mix them together. Put your spices in there. Mostly I put onion, salt, garlic. There's a mixture chicken spice I have that has paprika and red bell peppers in it. And here, believe it or not, is your, you see the little coconut flakes, and that's with breadcrumbs. And that's what you're going to put in last. So we're basically going to get right to it. First, we're going to add to our coconut oil about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Okay. Then we're going to get our red hot sauce, probably, I don't know, I'd probably say about 1/4 of a cup. There you go. And we're going to get our honey. There you go. Honey is very good for you, very nutritious honey. A lot of antibacterial, properties. And I like a little pickle juice, believe it or not. It just has a nice taste to it. I actually put it in a lot of my cooking, believe it or not. It's actually quite good. And then we're going to grab ourselves a spoon, mix this up, and as you can see, it sort of turns a little red on you. There you go. Doesn't separate too well. It doesn't separate either. I mean, it pretty much holds together. And you're going to get right into it. So you're going to put this out over here. You're going to grab your chicken. Okay. Grab your chicken. Wow, look at that. This is in the buttermilk overnight. Wow, that looks great. And you're going to have like a little process here. You're just going to sort of use your hands a little, get the chicken, the crust on there, and isn't that great? And then you're going to go to your egg. All right, going to go to your egg, grab ourselves a spoon, sometimes we got to get the egg around, you see. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Get that egg around. There you go. There you go. Eggs around. We're going back into the flour. You want to handle it with a little care, you know. You could even use your little spoon. Sort of get all those in there. And you're going to go back to your little mix here of the hot sauce. You know, grab yourself another spoon. Make sure this hot sauce gets all over. There you go. And you could also, you know, if you're having a problem getting that in, you could kind of tilt the pan a little bit. That sort of gets it around. Then you go into your breadcrumbs. Okay. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Oh, this is a nice crust. Look at that. Then you're going to grab your pan, which has coconut oil in it already, and some avocado oil. And make sure that crust is on there. And then you're going to drop it right into your pan. And we are going to do that for 2 more, and we will be back. Okay, so we are basically cooking and searing. You know, you want a hot sort of pan, you know, as you're putting these in. I showed you it was going in the pan, but I actually heated the pan up a little bit because the hot oil really, you need that to sort of sear what's going on there with the chicken. So this is going to cook. I'm going to put our little cover on, okay, just like that, and we will be back. That's a screen, by the way. Now you're probably going to cook these about 5 minutes on each side. I would not advise cooking on a high flame. I think a medium flame suffices. You know, if you see it bubbling more than that, then it's probably too much. And we will be back. As you can see, you basically go under and you use the top and flip them. I already flipped these. You can see it really searing on, and it's sort of encaped on there. Make sure your oven's on 325. And we'll let those cook about 7-8 minutes on each side. You know, every stove is different, but that should pretty much do it. Then we will be back. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sears it at that point. And then you basically flat and under, so you're not disturbing the crust at all. Okay? So what you're doing is you bring that over, you're going, hold it, flat, and on top. You see? Let's do it. Let's do it this way. There you go. Separate these guys a little bit. And we're going to go flat and over. And that is going to go into, shut off our gas. That is going to go into our oven. And we're going to more or less have a loose covering. So it's going to kind of go in like that. It's not a tight covering, it's just a top, you see? And that's going, it's just a loose covering, you see? And that's going to go into the oven at 325. And we're more or less, let's bring this baby up. We're more or less going to cook it for about 25 minutes. These are kind of big drumsticks, more than usual, so I might go 30 minutes. You have to adjust, that's the key. 30 minutes, sort of take a look. I'm gonna cook them for an hour basically. 30 minutes, gonna take a look, see how they're doing. Then I'm gonna cook them another 30 minutes. Okay, so basically an hour. These are pretty thick. They could take an hour, probably 15 minutes. And the last 15 minutes, I'll take the top off and let it really crisp off. I may take the top off a little before then. It sort of depends on how it's cooking and how it's materializing. If it's already crusting, I really don't have to take the top off the second 30 minutes, so on and so forth. But we'll check it about 30 minutes in. So, you know, you never want to waste food, so as I'm waiting for the chicken, there's always mixture left over, like the eggs. So I took a little spinach, a little Swiss cheese, and I'm making a little bit of the omelet. I'll show you it right now. There you go, a little bit of an omelet. And, you know, I have this beautiful mixture of coconut oil with the hot sauce and everything. So you just don't, you don't want to waste, you know? So you basically have, oh, isn't that beautiful? Have that come in, you know, you can have that all cooking. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Yeah. And you have yourself a little bit of an omelet. You even put this in, you know, and there you go. There you have it. We will be back. And here you go. You have yourselves a little bit of an omelet. Isn't that absolutely look beautiful with the bread underneath and the hot sauce that I added to it? And this is just the char from the covering. So that's not burnt. It's actually quite good. So this is just a way that you can add to what you're doing as you're cooking and not wasting food. I certainly wouldn't fall in love with flipping too much. Okay, you could kind of flip these just like that, and you could sort of fix them a little bit, sort of pat them down. Yeah, even here, sort of pat them down, make sure that covering's on there. Okay, and we will be back. We're going to put it back in the oven. You know, again, I wouldn't over flip. It's just going to lead to the stuff falling off. You know, it's not necessary. And I would cover it for another half hour or at least 20 minutes. Check it on 20 minutes. And then we will go from there. And we will be back. I mean, you more or less flip it, you know, the one time. Hey, let's get a, or look up. You more or less flip it the one time just to, you know, because the juices are coming down on it. But after you flip it once, I wouldn't keep flipping it. It's just not necessary. It's on an elevated grill. It's the last half hour. We'll check in the half an hour. Maybe go another 15 minutes. We just have to check the internal temperature, make sure it's close to 180. Okay, have a good one, and we will be back. Yeah, so more or less, we're waiting on the final half an hour that we're going to have on the fried chicken. These are thick chicken legs, so I have the feeling it's going to take probably an hour and 15 minutes. But in about 15 or 20 minutes through the second 30 minutes, there's a first 30 minutes, a second 30 minutes, and an additional optional 15, depending on if it's cooked. And how you basically tell that, you know, more or less, is you could stick a fork in it, see the juices run down. A lot of people don't use that method. It's sort of more of an experienced way of checking. You can have an extra piece that you use as your test piece that you cut open, and you can see if all the pink is gone, and you could tell by the texture. Or you could use a thermometer. I don't really use many thermometers. Sometimes I'll just check it, you know, cut a test piece open and see. Most of the time I can just tell when it's ready. But you know, you have an internal thermometer that you put in. 165 more or less is pretty much the temperature that you want on fried chicken. So we will check it in a little bit, and we'll show you guys, and we will go from there. There we have it, folks. We have our fried chicken. Absolutely fantastic fried chicken. So make sure we don't burn ourselves. Absolutely. Look at how beautiful that chicken is. Oh my goodness gracious. So good looking. And there we go. You know, the last, let's put this up. The last